Hi, this is Todd Smith from MoneyFromApps.com, and today I'm going to talk about the 5 reasons why most people who publish slot machine apps will never, ever make any money. The crazy part is, a lot of the losers, or a lot of the losses that I've had, apps that have flopped, have come after a winner. So I'm sure you've had this in one area or another in life, maybe in the App Store, but you have something that does very, very well, or good enough, and then you try to replicate success. And again, this could be in a lot of areas of life. And what happens is we focus on too much on trying to replicate the success for the wrong reasons. And what happens is you forget that sometimes you just get lucky, and sometimes it's a trend. And if you try to take luck in something that was a trend and repeat it at the wrong time, it flops. So it takes a few losses to understand that, and I've had those. Alright, so number 1, they put out a bad game. It's plain and simple. And I know if you're saying, hey man, but I didn't build the game, it's based off an app template. Well, then I'd say, well, don't take it personal, buddy. But your game is still full of bugs, has lag in the gameplay, and crashes a lot. I mean, you really have to think about your users as people, not just downloads. I mean, would you stick around and play a crappy app? I mean, do you leave a bunch of crappy apps on your phone? Okay, so common sense tells us the other side of that, to find the solution, you can't put out a crappy app. I mean, sure, tons of crappy apps have done very well, millions of downloads, millions of dollars in revenue, but like I mentioned before, trends and luck do happen, but if you're banking your success on trends and luck, then well, let me say, good luck. Reason number 2, they either had a bad app created or used a bad app template. Getting something that's current, that's actually being published today. It's also a template that the selling author or developer is using, not just building to sell. Somebody that is using this template to publish games and make money, and they're counting on that revenue to live, they're much more invested in making that template awesome. They're more motivated to add features. They find ways to improve and optimize things. And then they're going to have the tips to help you set your game up. The better tutorials, the better videos, the how-tos. I set the template up for other people to reskin after we did get those requests, because I knew what I would want as a developer that's bought, bad app templates. And then I went ahead and reskinned it several times. So when you combine all this and the same person is doing it, I'm not saying you have to do it all. It's probably not a good scaling method, but when you are invested in the whole project and know what's going on, everything lines up. Reason number 3, no analytics. If you don't know how people are navigating through your app, who they are, where they're at, and how to reach them, it's pretty difficult to scale up and really tailor your app to what those people want. I'm talking about using Google Analytics, possibly Facebook, or some other platforms. Those are our 2 favorite. In our Mega Jackpot Slots app template, we have the Facebook SDK installed. Wonderful. We have the Facebook SDK installed, so it, in the background, will track all your users, where they're at, and tons of other data, which can come in very handy later if you choose to dabble in user acquisition with Facebook ads. The Google side of that, I like more for creating different custom events, so you can see when people click certain buttons, when they're in certain areas of the game, how long they're there, and why they left is what you're trying to figure out, so you can improve the game. It's a little more complicated to set that up, not for a programmer, but for a non-programmer. But what we went ahead and did is have 25 events, and that logs almost every button and action that the user has within the app, and we're probably going to improve that down the road. But right now, it allows us to be way ahead of the curve, just as an indie app developer publishing our own games, to help with improving those said games. Sorry, I was a little distracted there. I'm really on point here, but as far as, well, I don't know how it sounds, but in my mind I'm on point. I'm doing this recording this video, and I have, you know, like a dump truck driving down the street. I have somebody beeping their horn or a car alarm going off. Got a dog barking. It was just, I don't know how I kept it going. So a real world example for number 3, having analytics. It's like trying to lose weight without weighing in and maybe taking some body measurements. Reason number 4, bad retention. You know, if it's a casino game, you got to give them enough starting coins to play and have fun before they even get close to having to buy something. I mean, it's like a free trial of sorts. I mean, it's kind of tough to have somebody download a casino game, and it looks really neat, and then about 2 minutes after they download, or 5 minutes, they run out of coins, and now they have to spend $5. It's probably not going to happen. So, got to give them enough fun before they're willing to spend. So zooming out a little bit, if they run out of entertainment or entertainment to consume, whether in a casino game, for example, if you only have, you know, one theme and there's no way that changes, it's a little hard to convince somebody to come back and play the same game, theme, room, level over and over. You need to allow somebody to progress through the game, let them feel like they're getting somewhere with either score, coins, something. So the real world example, or the outside perspective that I am going to use for number 4, reason number 4, which is bad retention, is the commencement speech by Neil Gaiman, an author, in 2012. I'm going to go ahead and play just a little section, maybe 30 seconds of it, and then I'll explain what I'm talking about.
But you get work however you get work. But people keep working in a freelance world. And more of today's world is freelance. Because their work is good, and because they're easy to get along with, and because they deliver the work on time.
Okay, so he said they get work because they get work, but they keep work because, and then he listed, your work is good, you're easy to get along with, and you deliver the work on time. So let's think about this. You get a download because you get a download. You keep a user because your app is good, it's easy to love and play, and you consistently deliver new content. Now let's see what the last part of this is.
And you don't even need all 3. 2 out of 3 is fine. People will tolerate how unpleasant you are if your work is good and you deliver it on time. People will forgive the lateness of your work if it's good and they like you. And you don't have to be as good as everyone else if you're on time, and it's always a pleasure to hear from you.
So there you have it. 2 out of 3 will do. And that's for number 4, bad retention. In our Mega Jackpot Slots app template, some of the ways that we were able to increase retention were to load these features. Push notifications through PushWhoosh. Sign up for a free account, replace the ID, follow the instructions. You can send a push notification to any of your app users, reminding them to come play the game, possibly cross-promote one of your other games. We tied local notifications to a timer that would allow them to receive free coins let's say every 2 hours, but you can change that time. Also, a daily bonus spin. You can come and spin the bonus reel to win coins. And the cool part is you can even set the time that goes off. We have multiple themes within that game, you know, multiple rooms that allow the user to progress through the game to reach the new level. And we even tied a neat little setting, and this is all in one file, IDs to replace file, that you can change the level that they need to reach to unlock each theme. So you don't have to go deep into the code, it's all right there. We build a lot of social networking within the game, and when you can share the app itself on Facebook and Twitter, and even email somebody, you can receive different coins. So it's kind of like an internal monetization, but it's retention because it allows them to come to the game, share the game that they like, and also receive coins in doing so. Number 5, and this is the last reason we're going to go over today, that most people who publish slot machine apps will never, ever make any money, and that's monetization. It just really comes down to understanding what level of game you have, what you're trying to create, and how that relates to generating revenue from your users in a way that doesn't piss them off but allows you to still, earn some money. For a lot of us, that's going to be using advertising and having the ability to have your ads show different placements within the game and turn those on and off without a complicated back-end system. Hiring a programmer to come in and constantly change your code is very important. And it was so important to me that in our Mega Jackpot Slots app template and game, what I did is in that IDs to replace file I've mentioned a few times, I set up 10 ad placements, or I had 10 ad placements set up within the game with an easy yes, no, on, off toggle, if you will. I was also able to have it set up so I can change the priority from the different ad networks, what shows first, if I even want to show 2 ads. If it's just chart boost, I want to show first, and if there is no chart boost ad and they can't serve an ad, then I would just use AppLovin as a backup ad so you don't lose that impression. There's also delays that can be set up in there as well. And this is all really easy for a non-programmer to do. And that's me, so that's why I had it set up. In-app purchases are still relatively a small percentage of revenue for most slot machine games. And that's something we're looking to improve. One step that we took towards doing that was allowed myself and you to adjust the different payout amounts for the in-app purchases. I guess payouts in the form of coins. Obviously, you can change the amount of each in-app purchase, what you charge them, but we needed to be able to quickly adjust how many coins they got for that in-app purchase. So with everything we've talked about today, increasing retention, keeping people happy, creating a win-win situation, there needs to be enough coins that they get in return for that purchase that keeps them happy enough to not only play, but keep spending money. So it's clear now we're talking about a bad app template versus a great app template, and it's important to pick a great one. Well, the neat part of this example is I was using general terms. We didn't look at specific apps today. I said I've had failures, I've had winners. Well, Mega Jackpot Slots, that template, that game that we use, we rely on, it was based off Fun Slots. And that was a game that, and I'm not calling the people that put it out losers, I'm saying there was quite a few holes in their strategy, and that's okay. But Fun Slots is what Mega Jackpot Slots is based off of, but it has nothing surrounding it to allow it to succeed. The original developers that put this out, and there's a blog post on this somewhere that tells this story, but the original developers published one game. It was a paid app. It was 99 cents, and it had, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head here, out of our 5 reasons, number 1, they put out a bad game. That it was a great game. It had a great foundation, great gameplay, no lag. It was awesome. Number 2, they used a bad app template. That wasn't the case, obviously, because it was a custom game. It was their own project. But here's where it starts to get interesting. Number 3, no analytics. There was no analytics in the game at all. Okay. Bad retention. Well, there was bad retention because there wasn't any. There wasn't a lot of entertainment in the game. It's like somebody put all the resources and time and energy into building an awesome platform, right? Somebody that thinks how to do that, a programmer type, works with maybe a graphic designer, puts a good game together, and they run out of time, run out of money, or sanity. So they did all that, and by the time they published it, they had nothing left, like I said, time, money, sanity, to really do what needed to be done to allow the game to thrive. So it failed. It failed miserably. I believe when I finally bought this game, and I tried to buy it for over a year, I don't know how many downloads it had. I know it had less than 500. It might have only been 100. And honestly, I don't know if it hit 100. So $100, minus Apple's cut, of course, on a game that was It was over $25,000 for them to create. So failure, but it worked out good for me because I was able to take the foundation, the awesome game they built, and surround it around the things that I understood from past experiences, even my losses, with different templates, different wins to allow the game to thrive. So we went in, we added analytics, we added push notifications, we attached local notifications to the bonus I mentioned before that allows people to come back and collect free coins. We added a daily bonus spin that you can set the time for. We added advertising with multiple placements. We took a game that was a paid app that had no advertising, no retention, no analytics, nothing. Added everything I knew to do at the time, and we've added to it since. Everything was set up like made by a reskinner for reskinners. No, I just brought a lot to the table in terms of what worked for me in the past, and I took the platform, the very solid gameplay that they built, and then I, put my own spin on it. So that's how I was able to move myself out of the old group of not making any money from slot machine apps to making money from slot machine apps. Keep an eye out for the next video, which will explain how we make a profit consistently, day in and day out, and how we plan to scale that. This is Todd Smith from MoneyFromApps.com. Thanks a lot. See ya.